Boss Cup Event 8, ladies and gentlemen. We're more than halfway through the cup as we get thrown into this retro-looking level by Ramone. But all is not as it seems, because if we zoom in a little bit here, focus on this playing area here, then we just snap our fingers, we can see the level how it actually looks with details turned on. The level is using this new LGR that's included in Steam Elastomania that can give you these solid colors and actually gives a very pretty look to the level. Now the theme is very simple. I've added the start here. You have to first collect the key by, I guess, collecting the apple near the key. And then you have to enter this, what is this? We called it a chimney when we were playing, but I realized now that it's probably more like a rocket or maybe a skyscraper. But regardless, you have to collect the apple, collect the key, get down here, get through all these apples, unlock the doorknob with your key, and then exit out and touch the stars. Apart from visuals, the level plays a bit funnily as well. It's impossible to reach the key apple here from your starting position. So the first thing you have to do is you have to jump down here. From here, you have to decide which way to go. You can either go towards the right, pick up some speed and go up this way, or you can go towards the left, pick up speed and come up this way. As you can tell, this gap here is a little bit wider, which means that you need more speed to be able to clear this way. But it might allow you to keep some speed this way, take the apple from the key, and maybe somehow do some crazy vaulting, swag spinning and get up here. It's a very long distance though, and it's very hard to keep the speed on top of all these things. And especially here, you're gonna have speed downwards, so turning that into upward speed and getting a push and then getting like some grip here, it's probably close to impossible, but we never know. The second style gives you less choice though, because since you have the speed towards here, you have to get the key and, well, here it's even more impossible to go back here, so probably you would have to either take this apple, come down here, and go this way up and into the chimney. Might be hard to get that speed, or you continue around here, get some extra speed, and then do the same thing. But regardless how you do it, you're gonna end up going down here. And now the tricky part about this level as well is that these apples are exactly what the icons here indicate. This apple is right gravity, and this apple is left gravity. So as you're dropping down, you're gonna have momentum downwards and keep grabbing right gravity, left gravity, right gravity, left gravity, or vice versa, or two in a row for one direction. And this makes this drop extremely hard because you're always changing direction, and in a split second you can get overwhelming force towards the right or towards the left and hit the wall or miss one of the apples. But even if you do manage to grab all the apples all the way down, you still have to survive this doorknob down here. And once you have grabbed all the apples and once you do survive the doorknob, then you're gonna go back either, depending on if you have the left gravity or right gravity, you're gonna travel up along the side here with your respective gravity. Then you're gonna launch. If you're on this side, it means that you have rightwards gravity, so probably you're gonna jump. Maybe you can grab this flower, or you're gonna have to maybe grab this. If you have the left hand gravity, you're gonna jump and maybe you can stop and grab this. Maybe you can go here. Now you have more flowers to choose from up here, but you're gonna want to catch a flower that's early. Maybe if you have some gravity here, you can also get this one. But regardless, you don't really know which gravity you're gonna end up with in the end, and you don't really know which flower you're gonna be able to touch either. But with that said, let's jump into the first replay. And the first replay we're actually gonna watch is JT's. Now having JT's replays being shown shouldn't come as a surprise. He's pretty much in every single top 3 in this cup, but it's a good reference to start with just to show the overall styles. Okay, starting, dropping down here, going away from the apple and key, going towards the left. Now this is clearly not enough speed to go up on the left side, so we have to assume that he's gathering speed to come up on the right instead. Gets a good turn there, very clean, keeping his grip on the ground all the way here. Jumping up, passing the chimney rocket kind of thing. And here he does get past the chimney of the first house, jumps down, goes to the key, gets the apple, and continues down. So he does the top route, drops down to the bottom, and now getting more speed to go up and into the chimney and all the gravity apples. Gets a good amount of speed here, pushes away, and this time, yeah, going towards the right. Let's see how he drops down into the chimney. Chooses to drive on the wall, and then comes around, dodges the doorknob, takes some gravity, goes up on the left side, grabs the right hand gravity, and manages to jump out and get the flower. JT finishes at a time of 1:03, which puts him at a comfortable 8th position. Now this is very surprising. We always see JT in the top 3, and his wreck was very clean. There's not many places where he could have gathered more speed. So who managed to beat JT in this event? Well, the 7th place was Elrond at a 56.55, a whopping 7 seconds faster than JT's wreck. So how the hell did he manage that? Let's take a look. Okay, so starting right here, a little bit different from JT, but he seems to be going left as well. So probably going here to turn to gather momentum, just like JT did. So far, no major difference. Actually, that turn maybe is even a little bit slower than JT's. Let's see here. Gathering momentum, gonna jump up to the roof here, but wait a minute. It's going towards the right. He's going into the rocket first, but he doesn't have that other apple by the key. There's a beautiful drop here along the central line, getting all the apples. But with this left-hand gravity, how is he gonna get down to the key? The key is way far below where he is right now. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, and uses the chimney too. And gets the apple from the side. Can he get to a flower? Yes, he uses the wall and jumps to the flower. Crazy style by Elrond. And that style saves him 7 seconds compared to JT's style. And JT's style was really a clean wreck. Just for reference, let's look at this style again in the editor. Take a look at this level, and now let's rotate it 90 degrees and see what we're actually dealing with here. Elrond is coming up here on the left-hand side. He exits this rocket here, and he has to grab this apple by the key. And if you can imagine now, since we turned the level, his left-hand gravity is actually kind of like down gravity in this view that we're having now. So he has to drop from this apex of the rocket down to this apple, which is, if we draw a straight line from the apple, he has to clear this much distance when actually his speed coming out of the chimney is gonna be more directed here, right? He manages to get a good grip with the wheel here and then uses the momentum because he's gripping both actually on the inside here first and then on this side here. He uses this momentum to kind of swing around a little bit and get a little bit downwards momentum here. And then he can use this actual chimney again, getting the wheel, getting some grip here and getting some even more momentum down here. Just enough to grab the top of this apple. So he's going against the first speed that he has towards the left and using the grip on the wheels here, here, and here to turn that momentum to the other way. But it does leave a question. We know that Elrond is still only 7, and we did see that maybe the gravity parts and those kind of things can be done faster. So what is the actual potential for this level? Well, we can ignore 6th place because I did basically what Elrond did. But in 5th place we have a new visitor. And it's our Canadian friend Dorknoob. Now, Dorknoob early on hinted that this was his level. From the moment the level was released, he felt a strong connection to the level, probably because of a certain part of it. But it turned out that his connection was not for nothing. And he manages not only to find this style as well, but improving greatly on Elrond's time and finishing at a 53.40, 3 seconds faster than Elrond. Let's see how he did it. Starts to the left, just like JT, and unlike Elrond. Gets a drop straight on here, manages to get a lot of speed here towards the left. So far, no major difference. Ooh, gets a very nice turn there, gets a bounce on the wall. So already saving a little bit of time, most likely. Jumps up here, goes towards the rocket as well. Let's see if he can get the same kind of clean drop all the way down. No, he actually goes for the same style as JT here and manages to drive a little bit on the wall, gassing down, saving some time. Manages to clear the doorknob as well, the doorknob, and uses these gravity apples now to get a good stick here on the wall. And using the chimney here as well to get even further down to the apple. Gets a little stuck here on the house, but actually that lets him maybe grab the flower, it does. So Dorknoob improves on Elrond's style, little bit faster turn here with the bounce. Goes all the way here, drives on the walls here to gather even more momentum downwards, and saves the 2 apple in the top to get that left-hand gravity as a final step. And that allows him also a faster stick here. And then, of course, uses the roof here to jump straight to the flower, and thus saving 3 seconds compared to Elrond. Very clean wreck, very beautiful style. But who's next? Well, ahead of Dorknoob, who is our new name in the top 5, came another new name, Slaw. Now Slaw doesn't need much of an introduction. The guy is everywhere. He's a great internalist, he's a great level maker, he's made countless of famous levels, famous level packs, he has many of the official Steam Elma packs, he does the G-Slaw Cup right now with weekly battles, and now he's here in the top 4 of a boss cup event. And not only is he top 4, he actually improves the time by almost 1.5 seconds. So let's check out his replay. So Slaw, starting left as well. Identical to everyone except for Elrond, who went right first. Dropping down here, gathering speed. So far, nothing out of the ordinary. Gets a good bounce here, good turn. See here, maybe has to turn a little bit to get the front wheel down. Small slip up, but nothing major. Gets the jump here into the chimney. Let's see if he goes for the exact same style. Looks like it. Saving those 2 first left hand gravity apples. Very clean turn around here, the doorknob. Gets the remaining 2 apples. Good stick here. Let's see, uses the chimney as well here to get even further down. Grabs the apple. Quickly gasses on the roof there. Stretches the bike with some volts and gets the flower. Great wreck, but it looks very much like Dorknoob's as well. So let's see where he manages to save the time. Now we see Slaw here in the foreground in the Argentinian shirt, and we see Dorknoob in the famous doorknob shirt. Now, Dorknoob is actually pulling ahead a little bit here in the beginning and gets a very fast turn as well. So far, so good. And Slaw losing a little bit more time here with the extra turn he has to do. So Dorknoob in the lead, but Slaw getting maybe a little bit lower jump here, manages to catch up. Let's see, both of them going for the same style here. Slaw maybe managing to gas a little bit more, comes out ahead after the first gravity part, and has a quicker turn as well. And Dorknoob just can't catch up. They do the same kind of finish, but Slaw has enough lead from the gravity part that he manages to save 1.5 seconds. But that leaves us with the top 3. I will leave you with the names of the 3rd and 2nd place. And in no particular order, it's Blastic and Mjelz. Let's take a look at their replays and see who got 2nd and who got 3rd. Both starting towards the left. We see Blastic in the red shirt, Mjelz in the black shirt here. So far, pretty much identical styles. Let's see the turn here. Can both get a bounce? Yes, looks pretty good. Both keeping the stick to the ground, both keeping their speed. Mjelz actually pulling out a little bit ahead here. Can Blastic catch up? Let's see. Well, Blastic goes for a little bit lower jump here. Looks like he's catching up. Mjelz going for a straight drop here, just like Elrond did in the beginning. Blastic doing the around style here. Coming up. Who's in the lead? It's impossible to tell. A little bit different push there. Now they're neck and neck. Mjelz is pulling out a little bit ahead actually. Even more so. Looks like Mjelz is gonna win, but wait a minute, Blastic is coming here, and Blastic is the winner. Blastic manages to catch up in the very end, when it looks like Mjelz, as they come back here on the way up, they're completely equal. And Mjelz does a little bit different push here, pushes with the front wheel, but look at this stick. They're completely inside each other. But Mjelz here gets a little bit earlier and more push here from the rocket. And therefore he has more speed for this chimney here and keeps that speed. Right now it looks like Mjelz is gonna win. He has more speed than Blastic currently, and he's in the lead. But Mjelz gets a little bit more stuck here on the ceiling than Blastic, who gets a very fast push here. And that actually lets him catch up and pass Mjelz. Crazy equal for still very different replays. The obviously surprising thing though is that Mjelz comes in at a 51.44, while JT stays at 103. Now, this could be because maybe JT just played a little bit and then decided this level was not for him. But to be fair, his replay was very clean. It was the fastest time by far using the normal style. But from pure speculation on my part, Mjelz said this on Sunday, the night of the deadline of the event. Played for more or less the whole week and found better style literally today night. Didn't have time to get a good finish. So on Sunday, on the day of the deadline, Mjelz found the winning style, which makes me believe that up until Sunday, Mjelz would have also placed around here with JT. So this level pretty much rocked the whole cup, because we have one of the top 3 contenders getting his worst placement so far in the cup because they didn't find the style until it was too late, at least for JT. I mean, Mjelz said he didn't have time to do a good time, he still got top 3. But of course that leaves the question, who is first? Well, we saw Mielz and Blastic entering the top 2 and 3. And before we get into the first place, I just want to give a shout out to Barry P. Now, it is surprising that you see Blastic CMR in 2nd place, Dork Noob in 5th place, and then Barry P in 10th place with the normal style. How come Barry P didn't finish with the same style as Blastic and Dork Noob on the same team? Well, he did actually finish with that style. The only problem, he finished 30 seconds too late. Blastic started his run within the deadline, but he didn't finish the run within the deadline. So in a full week of playing, he finished his run 30 seconds too late. And what would his time have been? Well, 51.6. Barry P finished with a time of 51.6, which would have given him a 4th place in this cup ahead of Slaw. But unfortunately, 30 seconds too late finish, which is just crazy. That gives him a 10th place instead. And I realize now I already spoiled the 1st place, but let's face it, you knew who it was. It's Zero, but what you didn't know was the time that he got, 49.61. Again, we saw huge gaps earlier, but as we got towards the top 4, 3, 2, the times were getting very, very tight and the runs were getting cleaner. But Zero manages somehow to drop a further 1.5 seconds and crossing that 50 line even down to a 49.61. Let's see how he did it. And to do that, we'll watch it at the same time as we watch Blastics just to see the difference, but we'll keep an eye on Zero throughout the run. Zero actually opting to go for the right start and getting a push here. Will that give him more speed? Well, looks like he's catching up a little bit, but wait, Blastic actually keeping his distance so far. Zero gets a clean run, a clean turn, sorry, and catching up a little bit, and by now he looks like he's passing. But so far they're very equal. I don't see the 1.5 seconds yet. Let's see their drops. They go for the same style, driving down left hand, going around. Actually, Zero not going around, he goes up, straight up. Gets those to Apple, does the front wheel push like Mielz, gets the push from the rocket. Uses only back wheel here, not braking on the chimney. Pushing and getting the flower. A very clean run by Zero. Now the start, arguably this start is actually slower. There are other replays, I think from Dork Noob, that show that starting towards the left was actually faster. But he manages to catch up. I mean, it's Zero being Zero. And by now, catching up. But let's see where he actually saved the most time. Now, doing the same push here. They're leaving the same apples. But Zero actually stopping here and going back up, while Blastic goes around. And this means that Zero can drive a little bit more on the wall here. But this is not where he saved most of his time. Now this front wheel push here, like Mielz did it, gets the stick here and gets a very early push from the chimney, gets a lot of speed here. You see Blastic getting a little bit slower and then just using the back wheel gas here, which is very brave. It's really easy to not get enough downwards momentum. You will see that Blastic instead opts to brake a little bit to get that more stick. And very close head here by Zero as well, but getting enough, you see Blastic here in the background braking to make sure he gets down enough, but that also costs you a lot of speed. And Zero just barely getting the apple and gets a really fast push from the ceiling and grabs the flower. Beautiful run by Zero, managing to get a 1.5 second lead over, well, everybody basically, at least 1.5 seconds above everybody, especially when playing alone, is very impressive. Now I spoke to him, and something I was curious about before, because we do have several Ramone events in this cup. We have had these 2 so far and we have 2 more to come. I asked Zero and Ramone didn't help at all with style finding, and you could see Ramone doesn't have a time in the level as well. So that means in these Ramone events Zero is virtually playing alone and he doesn't have any unfair advantage because it's a Ramone level. So beautiful replays all around. Many players complained about the gravity part, and actually me too, because it was very random. But speaking to Zero, he managed to find a consistent style towards the end of his playing, and then the hardest part was actually the chimney here, because he did the back wheel here. He didn't brake and slow down a little bit to get more downwards momentum. No, he went like full throttle all the way here, getting a push. Even just pushing from here, you're actually pushing a little bit upwards as well. So just that push for getting more speed kind of ruins your chances at getting this apple. But he manages to get the push, just a little bit of back wheel slowdown here, gets the apple and saves an enormous amount of speed all the way up to the flower. So very cool level with this retro feel, but still having these deep styles that are possible to do. Zero said that this was one of the more interesting events so far for him, and I can only agree. It was a pain to play with this part, but it was definitely interesting. So let's take a quick look at the standings. And we can see that Zero with this finish is reclaiming his first place. Again, remember there are 2 skips, so these points don't actually tell you the whole truth. But Zero is sitting at a fairly comfortable lead. It's 50 points ahead of Mielz, and JT is actually behind these 2 players if you account for the skips. Now, this is of course heartbreaking for Barry P. He used to be in 5th place, but I jumped ahead of him now with just a few points, but that's only because of his sad finish 30 seconds too late, and I do feel for him. That's not fun. But I know he will catch up, and I know it's going to be a fierce fight to stay in the top 10 even in this cup going forward. So looking forward to that. I know Barry P will beat me in many events to come and probably regain his placement, but I will do my best to not let it happen. But until then, the next event by Jonsa is going to be sick, and I'm looking forward to analyzing those replays as well. Thanks for watching.